I've always been a skeptic, the kind of guy who laughs at ghost stories. Profit over phantoms, right? That's what I told myself when I bought Ashwood House. It was a big Victorian place at the edge of a dying town in Pennsylvania. The locals whispered it didn't want company, but I saw a ghost mine. I was a fixer, a flipper. I saw potential, not poltergeists. The moment I stepped onto the property, though something felt off, the air got heavy, thick with the smell of rust and damp earth. The porch groaned under my boots like it was alive. Inside it was a time capsule of decay. Dust motes danced in the pale light, and the wallpaper was bubbled and warped, forming shapes that looked like faces. Just under the surface, trying to push through. I should have left right then, but my curiosity got the better of me, especially when I found an iron door in the cellar. No hinges, no lock, just a single, round handle sunk into the stone. I reached out, and the metal was ice cold, biting into my skin, and then I heard a sound from the other side. Not the wind, not a draft. It was a breath. A slow, deep inhalation, as if something was pulling me closer. That first night, I tried to ignore it. I blew up my air mattress in the living room, sketching out renovation plans, pretending the long, stretching shadows on the ceiling were just tricks of the light. But around 2 a.m., the power started to flicker. Then came the footsteps from the basement. Slow, measured, 5 steps forward, a pause, then 5 steps back. A rhythm like something was practicing how to walk. My heart was hammering. I whispered into the darkness, "Who's there?" The footsteps stopped. A second later, a sharp knock answered from right beneath the floorboards, directly under me. I told myself it was just old pipes. You know, anything to stay sane. As a precaution, I hit record on my phone's voice memo app, just to see if I could catch the sounds. The next morning, I packed up, feeling a little foolish. In the car, I played back the recording. I heard the house creaking, my own breathing, and then, my own voice. Clear as day, it whispered words I know I never said. Come down. It was my voice, my exact tone, but the rhythm was wrong. Twisted, felt like something had sampled my voice and was learning how to use it. Shaken, I called the realtor. No answer. I called the county records office, asking for the original building plans. The woman on the line paused for a long time. Then she said, so softly, I almost missed it, "Sir, our records show that house has no basement." A chill went down my spine that had nothing to do with the weather. That night, against my better judgment, I went back. I had to know. I slept with my boots on. At 3:17 a.m., it happened. The entire floor beneath me lifted, just slightly, like a giant chest taking a breath. My air mattress shuddered, and the whisper came again, this time right next to my ear. A perfect imitation of me. "You're home." I don't know if it was fear or anger, but I scrambled to my feet and ran for the cellar. The iron handle, the one that wouldn't budge before, turned easily in my hand. I yanked it open. A narrow stone staircase descended into absolute blackness. The smell that hit me was sickening, metallic and sickly sweet, like old blood. I shone my flashlight down, but the beam flickered and died. The darkness wasn't empty though. It shimmered like heat haze over asphalt, alive. And from the depths, a sound began, a scraping, dragging rhythm that sounded like hundreds of feet moving together. I spun around to run, but the iron door slammed shut behind me with a deafening boom, sealing me in. The silence that followed was worse than the noise. My phone's light barely cut through the oppressive dark, but it was enough. The walls were covered in handprints, dozens of them, bulging out from the stone itself. Some were small, like a child's. Others were long, with fingers too thin to be human. They weren't painted on. They were part of the wall, as if the very stone had tried to claw its way out. I backed up the stairs, my eyes glued to the shifting darkness below. I burst back into the living room, gasping for air, and turned. The door was gone. Just a smooth, unbroken plaster wall. No frame, no handle, nothing. I stood there, staring at the blank wall where the door to hell had just been. My mind was racing, trying to find a logical explanation. Mold, exhaustion, stress-induced hallucinations. I pressed my hand against the cold plaster. It pulsed faintly like a slow, sleeping heartbeat. My phone was dead. Or not dead, the screen was black, but the power switch was still on. It was refusing to turn on. I grabbed my keys, lunged for the front door, and twisted the lock. It wouldn't open. The wood of the doorframe seemed to stretch and bend like clay, sealing me inside. I looked at my reflection in the door's glass panel. It was warped, twisted into a smile, even though my own face was a mask of terror. And then my reflection spoke, its voice my own. "You wanted this house. Now it wants you." Then, every light in the house blew out at once. I spent hours in the dark, listening to the house groan and shift around me. Just before dawn, I must have passed out. I woke up to sunlight streaming in. The front door was wide open, swinging gently in a non-existent breeze. I sprinted to my car, but the tires were sunk 6 inches deep in thick, black mud that hadn't been there the day before. I looked back at the house, and my blood ran cold. In the upstairs window, a figure was standing there. It was me, staring down, with a faint, knowing smile, and eyes as black as the cellar. He lifted a hand and gave me a slow, deliberate wave. I should have gotten in my car and driven until I ran out of gas, but something pulled me back inside. That whisper, now a part of my own thoughts, told me I had to understand. The sweet coppery smell was overwhelming now. The walls seemed to breathe with me. I walked up the stairs and saw all the bedroom doors were open. Each room was an exact copy of the others, and in each, a set of my belongings, my jacket, my phone, my keys, all covered in a thick layer of dust, as if they'd been there for decades. In the last room, there was a tall, ornate mirror. My reflection stared back, but it was wrong. Gaunt, with hollow eyes and a smile that stretched too wide. It turned its head a fraction of a second after I did, and it spoke in my voice. "It's your turn." The surface of the mirror rippled like water, and a force I couldn't fight pulled me forward. I woke up on the living room floor. The mirror was shattered. My friend was there. He'd gotten my frantic voicemail. He said the front door was open, and the basement just smelled like damp earth. I didn't tell him what happened. We boarded the place up, and I left Ashwood for good. Or so I thought. On the drive home, my friend asked if I'd left my phone. He said while he was waiting, he heard it ringing from somewhere deep inside the house. It was a recording of my voice, playing on a loop. "It's safe now. Come back down." A month later, I saw the real estate listing online. It was active again. And there, in the photo, almost invisible in the glare of the upstairs window, was a man. He looked just like me, smiling that faint smile, his hand half raised in a wave. I still don't know if I ever really left Ashwood House. The whispers still find me, in the static of a phone call, on a bad connection, reminding me that some houses don't just hold memories, they hold you. Thanks for sticking with me through that. It's a story I had to tell. If you like tales that stick with you long after the lights are on, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more. Stay safe out there.